Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Dazzling Dave. Before I go on and tell you a bit more about this particular vlog, sending love, best wishes and thoughts to you and your family wherever you are in the world, and hope you're all safe and dealing with what is obviously unprecedented situation. As you know, my channel is primarily about Wolves and my life and all that surrounding that, and one of the popular features that I've got on the channel is the international fan reaction, which is reactions from all over the world, fans watching at all times of night and day, sending their reactions after a game, and I put that together and put it on the channel for you. The one thing that we're all in, you know, Wolves around the world, there's so many people that support Wolves, and it's affecting all us Wolves fans. In fact, the whole of humanity are being affected by this pandemic at the moment. So I asked them to all send a short video in about how this pandemic is affecting them, their family, the area that they're in, and obviously how they're feeling about it wherever they are in the world. And fantastic, we've got 17 contributions. We've got 12 countries, including Italy, the USA, Canada, Norway, Thailand, Australia, Mexico. We've got, you know, so many, and you know, I really appreciate them taking time to send in the video. Over here in the UK, the situation at the moment is that it's just been announced today there's another 260 deaths today, which has taken the total over 1,000. It's horrible that's happening, and people dying and getting this. It's a horrible thing, and obviously, as we know, there's no cure at the moment, just a treatment. And you know, there's this thing about like age and stuff like that. I'm probably in one of the high risk groups because I'm in long-term remission from chronic myeloid leukemia. Even though I'm fit and well, you do worry, and I worry about my elderly parents and all the loved ones, and you know, everybody really, like we all do. The health workers, our NHS, the nurses, the doctors, the key workers are all doing an amazing job to help keep things going and, you know, save lives. And I know that's the same wherever you are in the world, and we're really grateful and for all of their hard work, which is an incredibly difficult time. My own position is, from my work, I'm now on what's called furlough status. I work in marketing, primarily with the likes of restaurants and spas, and you know, all of those type of businesses have all closed down, so the work's gone. So I'm now on furlough. Well, basically what that means is the government are supporting businesses not to put people on redundant or out of work, that they retain them for when we come out of this, to hopefully the economy can kick back in again. And I'm on that status for the foreseeable future. But at the moment, all safe and well, staying at home, doing what we need to do to stay healthy and also protect everyone else. So guys, I will be back at the end. This is quite a long video. You might want to watch it in one go or two or three little things, but make sure you watch it all. Listen to the guys wherever in the world, and send the love to them as well for taking the effort to do it. And I'll see you at the end of the video. And yeah, please smash a like if you're new around here, and again, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. So without any further ado, let's go around the world.
Hey everyone, it's Aidan Purcell checking in from Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. Just touching base with everybody, see how everybody's keeping, making sure everybody's quarantined and staying home. As you can see, I am staying home. You know, it's an unfortunate event that's going on around the world today, but we're certainly all in it together. I wish our mighty Wolves would be back on the pitch, but there's certainly much more important things to worry about. So it's been certainly a struggle here. I've got a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, so keeping them pent up in the house and explaining to them why they can't see Nanny and Granddad or any other friends has certainly been difficult, but it's also been some forced family time, and we're certainly making the most of it. As you can see, there's no snow on the ground here, so at least the seasons are turning a little bit, so we can get on with our lives, at least walking around and exploring the trails in our neighborhood. So it's a tough time, certainly unprecedented in our history, and in anybody that's dealing with this, which is everybody. So stay safe everyone, stay healthy, you know, keep your distance from everyone. wash your hands. We'll get through this. The quicker that we all self-isolate, the quicker we all stay indoors, as I do this from outside here, the quicker we all stay at our houses and stay away from everybody and keep washing our hands. It'll be better for everybody, and our boys will be back on the pitch soon. Stay strong, Wolfpack, and we'll talk to you soon. Cheers.
Hi everyone, it's Asia from Parma in northern Italy, and I want to talk to you about what's really happening here. So I will be honest, the situation is really bad. It's been I think 3 weeks since our lockdown started, and things are not going well. You have probably seen videos of Italian people singing from their balconies, trying to support each other, but the truth is that we are scared. We don't know what to expect, and we don't know what will happen tomorrow. There is this deadly silence all around, which is unbearable to hear. The absolute nothing is so strange. For weeks, the only sound we have heard is the ambulance sirens, which is kind of depressing, and most of us actually don't even know what day is it, because we really aren't allowed to go outside. People are dying, we are dying, and the hospitals are full. Nurses and doctors are getting sick, and what's worst is that doctors have to decide who's gonna live and who's gonna die. They would look at you straight in the eyes and say, we can cure you, because there is literally no physical space and medical equipment. So just please take a moment and imagine being a doctor and just walk up to your patient and say, you probably are gonna die because we have no time, no space and no physical equipment to cure you. And actually a couple of nurses, I think in Lombardia, committed suicide because the stress was so high. Just imagine working 12 hours a day and seeing people dying, like 40-50 people a day per hospital. We underevaluate the situation, and please don't do the same mistake. You have to do what you're told. If you're told to stay at home, you please stay the hell at home. We're all in this together, and we're not gonna make it alone. So please do what you're told. It's the only advice I can give you. I hope the situation will end soon, and please follow the instructions and do what you're told.
Hey Dave, Wolfman Jeff coming at you here in Alabama on the porch. Probably a safe place to be in this environment. Well, a lot of things have changed since we talked last, Dave, and had hoped to be catching a lot of Wolves matches. And here and locally, today actually was supposed to be the start of our season for our USL League One. And in Chattanooga, there's the Chattanooga Red Wolves. And we were supposed to be in Greenville, South Carolina. We were going to take a road trip for the season opener, and we were going to be seeing the Greenville Triumph and our Chattanooga Red Wolves. So we were there. We had a whole group. We were going to do a camping trip. There was a whole group of us. We were going to practice our songs and all that. We're really pumped up about it, and that's fine. A lot of things are put on hold. And so obviously for Wolves, I can't go to the matches, but I do love watching them on TV and following them online. But I could get a little better sense of what's feeling there in Wolverhampton. But it's look at the bigger picture. We just got to stay safe. The county I live in, which is South Chattanooga, we don't have any cases in our little county. Chattanooga area has gone from 1 to well in the double digits. Tennessee went from 10 to 100 this past week. The United States has decided they want to be number one on everything, and so we are now leading the world in most cases. thankfully, we are still fairly low on deaths on this, but we'll see what we're at. I know things in the UK, you guys got to hit it earlier. I know your Prime Minister has this, and no matter how you feel about politics, you don't wish ill on someone, whether you're a fan or the opposite. So it just causes us to pull together. Dave, I work at a blood bank. I work at Blood Assurance in Chattanooga, and so I'm considered essential, and which that's a little grueling at times, but I'm also get a chance to see the response. And Dave, people have been coming in because they want to change something. They want to do something. They can't do a lot of things. So this past week, we've almost had to tell people to stop coming because the response has been so powerful. And I share that with you for a couple of things. Let everyone know it's still safe to donate blood. So please do that when you can. But if they say, let's break this out, let's add spacing, that means physically, but also time-wise, because when things get lighten up and then more surgeries will be happening, we'll need that later. But I also want to mention that to you because I got a chance to see the best of what we're about. A couple of weeks ago, I was in Cookeville. We had a tornado come through, and I got to see donors come in the thousands. And that continued on through this. And so I'm reminded at the goodness of human nature. Yeah, there's been some not so much fun stuff, people hoarding things, but people looking after each other and trying to keep some kind of communication and talking during this. And maybe I should have done some more of these video chats to let people know I'm still alive and I still care about you. Dave, you're my friend. Never met you face to face, and I consider you a very dear friend. I wish the best for you and your family. So we're doing fine. My mom's health is not the best, so it's another reason I try to stay away and keep distance. But we're all doing well. I wish you all the best. Always Wolves, Wolfman Jeff, here in Alabama.
Hey Dave, Dave from New York Wolves here. From sunny but rather chilly Stamford, Connecticut. We're at home. Hence the hat and the. I actually asked Martinho to lend me his beard since he seems to be able to grow one in about 2 days flat. But I think he sent me his grandfather's version. It's very grey. I'm gonna have to send it back with a strongly worded letter. So we're okay. My wife and I are home and healthy, and spirits are good. I'm very fortunate that I can do what I do from home just as easily as being in an office. And I've actually, when I'm not traveling for work or pleasure, I generally work from home quite a bit and have done for about 10-12 years. So it's not that much of an imposition on me, fortunately. I'm very, very thankful for that. I do feel bad for all the people who have lost their jobs or had their incomes interrupted. It's awful to have to deal with, but sadly looks like this is the way to stop the virus spreading and give the health authorities a chance to catch up and let it run its course, and hopefully it burns out in the summer or something along those lines. But it's unfortunately what we got to deal with. So hoping everyone's staying healthy out there and staying safe and following the instructions from the appropriate authorities. I don't think I'll be sending you any cool videos from exotic locations for a good long while now, but I think I do look forward to, I think all of us are going to feel like watching that first Wolves match after this stops is going to be a pretty special experience given what we're all going through at the moment. So just a case of sucking it up and dealing with it and getting through it. So best of luck to everyone out there, and stay safe and healthy, and looking forward to that next Wolves match and nabbing that last Champions League spot. Talk to you soon, Dave.
Hi guys, hi Dazzling Dave in the UK, Andy here in Montreux, Switzerland.
And Nikki.
I'm originally from Wolverhampton, Wolves supporter for life, and moved from UK, Wolverhampton to Jersey where we met, and then we came over to Montreux in 2011. We've been in, not quite a virtual, but almost lockdowns for about just over 2 weeks. The borders here all closed on Monday. Schools closed Friday the 13th, and I guess from the 9th the country has progressively shut down things, including shops and everything except for food and drink and a few banks and pharmacies.
So we've all been staying home, and we've been getting our shopping delivered to the garden gate so that nobody comes anywhere near the front door or steps into our house. And it's a frightening time because over the last 2 weeks, many of our friends have got ill, and some of them quite ill. Our daughter is 16 and she has a friend who's been very ill for the last 10 days.
Just to put some context on it, Switzerland's a country with an 8.5 million population. The per capita number of cases in the country that have been recorded, which is probably just the tip of the iceberg, is the highest in the world. The mortality rate is not so severe at this point. But obviously beds in hospitals are disappearing fast, and there are only a limited number of ventilators.
So it's not the best time for us, and I'm sure it's not the best time for many Wolves supporters all over the world. And we are very much looking forward to the pandemic passing and being able to get back to doing some of the things that give us much joy, and watching the football is one of those things.
In the meantime, just a few pointers in the world of business here. I have a business in Verbia, heavily involved in hospitality. That's been closed. I've just been sorting out pay for staff with the Swiss government, which was finally sorted today. I'll move on to support for the business next to try and keep that going. But that's the reality of the situation, I guess.
So we'd just like to say to everybody, stay well, stay home, and let's hope we all come through it.
We haven't forgotten Wolves, and I keep looking at the old matches and
talking about them a lot.
And otherwise we're keeping fit, looking at the view, and making the best of it. I guess apart from what we're going to finish on, just to send our support and thanks to all the medical teams, doctors, nurses, hospital staff around the world who are working so hard here and in other countries to look after patients as they come in and keep them alive. But that aside, best of luck to everyone. Cheers to Wolves. Always Wolves.
Oh, hi Dave, this is Rob here in Melbourne. I've been in lockdown actually for about 2.5 weeks now. I actually contracted on the way back from the UK after getting sick in Berlin, pneumonia, so I've been treated for pneumonia for the last 2.5 weeks, had my coronavirus test, which came out negative. Australia's not doing too bad. We're not in lockdown yet, but we have closed pubs, we have closed a lot of social venues because people haven't been adhering to the rules around social distancing. There are thoughts that we're going to go into lockdown in the next few days. We're probably 4 or 5 days behind the UK. The situation is most of us are working. I've been working from home now for 2.5 weeks, so fortunately I'm able to do that. A lot of people lost their jobs. Very similar things to what's going on in the UK. We've had a couple of disasters here. One was the amount of people that went to the beach. I don't know whether you saw Bondi, but Bondi was packed the other day. Clearly people were not accepting the social distancing. We've also had issues with cruise ships. We had a cruise ship land called the Ruby Princess, which landed in Sydney. Passports weren't checked. There was a number of people that were infected with the virus that got off the ship. As a result, I think there's about 130 cases now that have gone out into the community and potentially infected others. So we've got a real challenge here with trying to arrest the virus. This is the first time I put my Wolves shirt on in a few weeks, so I don't know when we'll get to a game, when we'll meet up in the Impy again, but it's certainly unprecedented times here, and no one really knows what's going to happen, and it's a significant cost to the economy to try and stop or slow down this the progress of this virus, so that the health system can cope with those people which unfortunately will struggle with when they contract it. Anyhow, keep your chin up. Talk to you soon. Cheers, mate. Bye.
Hi, this is Chris from Eidsvoll in Norway. I'm always part of Dave's team to give reports and reviews after games in the international team. However, we're talking about something different now, which is the coronavirus and how it's affecting us all over the world. Now, as I say, I live in Norway, a place called Eidsvoll, which is not too far from Oslo. We are, as a country, in the same kind of lockdown situation as the UK, except for us people who have what is called kritisk samfunnsfunksjon, which means a key job in the community, which I have because I'm a prison officer out here. So I've got quite a unique reflection on how I'm being affected. Really, I think the main thing is that we have so many staff who had to sit in quarantined and not necessarily sick, but they've had to not be here for 14 days. That's actually a massive problem for us, and that's the biggest difference, that we've got less people at work. But I'm massively proud of my colleagues, because I just see everyone's gone up a level in terms of the effort they put in, what they do. It's something I'll always remember. We're all having to put a bit more extra hard work in now, in terms of we're working a bit more, doing a bit of overtime. Now, it is a bit tiring, but I want to be able to look back in many years to come on these times and say that I contributed, I did something. And that's really what I'm trying to do here. My general life hasn't really been affected that much, because, to be honest, I'm working so much. I'm coming home, spending a bit of time with family, and then working again. But these are the sacrifices many people are making at the moment. So I'm just a small part of that, and no more. I do, however, think that as people, as a community here all over the world, we can't really continue this for much longer, because yes, the virus is on one side and we have to contain it. At the same time, people have to work. People have to be social. So it has to be a temporary measure, really, doesn't it? But of course, the most important thing is that is people's lives and containing this virus. So we have to hope that it's done as quickly as possible, or we can hope to get back to normal. On a personal note, I've got to say I'm so glad that before all this broke out, that I took my eldest boy to Barcelona for the Espanyol game. We had 3 amazing days, and thank God for that, because now, of course, life is a lot more quiet and it's beginning to bite everyone. So I'm very grateful for that. But everyone, that's how it is here. We're in the same situation. Everyone, please do their bit in terms of hand washing and isolating as much as possible. Everybody stay safe, and we'll get through this.
Hola, buenos dias. Good morning to you, Dave, and everybody, all the Wolves fans. Good morning from Mexico. I'm currently in Lo de Marcas, which is in the state of Nayarit. Troubling times we're in, my friends. Troubling times. I'm hunkered down here with a wife, and there's 2 houses in this small complex. We have access to provisions, to fresh fruit and vegetables, and the beer, of course. And we have to battle with 27 Celsius sunshine. No good for a fair-skinned, freckly old geezer like me. But the whole of the town is closed down. All the bars and restaurants are shut. Just essential services. So we're basically trying to keep out of everybody's way and keeping our social distances, which makes sense. I hope you guys are practicing that too. It is difficult. How do you fill your times? What are you watching? I'm watching Netflix, lots of YouTube. Maybe you guys could recommend something down below. What are you watching? What are you doing to keep yourselves occupied and stop yourselves from going insane? Miss watching the Wolves. I was watching 10 games a week of various football. The joys of being retired and having an internet connection. So that's a big shock to the system, but this really is bigger than football. It truly is. So anyway, I'm going to sign off. I wish you all the very best. Take care of you and your loved ones. Dave, obviously, you and I, we stay in touch, not on Facebook, not on YouTube. But I wish you all the very best, my friends. Salutations, and my planned trip to England in September 2020. Hopefully we'll still go ahead and I'll get to rub shoulders with some of you, so long as it's safe. Adios amigos, be good, be safe.
Hi guys and all Wolves fans. Should have been celebrating the next round of the Europa League now and maybe a couple of wins for the Wolves, but it is what it is. Here we are. Covid-19 has got us all in our homes. Our situation, we're currently in quarantine, isolation for 14 days, started 3 days ago. My wife had a high temperature. Thankfully she's feeling better now. She feels under the weather and feels totally drained, but we built a room in the garden with its own bathroom a few years ago, so that's gone in use. So she's literally in the garden. My son's over there. He's doing an internet workout at the moment. I've had a go as well, so we're bearing up. We've got a roof over our heads. We've got food on the table, and we've got a lovely neighbour, Amanda, who's helping out with the shopping. The kids are keeping well as well. Our faith plays a huge part, so we pray and we look for guidance and we look for light. You know, there's people suffering out there, and we ask for, you know, the well-being of those suffering. There's a huge Wolves fan, Neil Taylor, who does a lot for our community, and a lot of people know him. He's a very, very popular guy. He's suffering at the moment as well as so many others, so our wishes and our thoughts for people like Neil and everybody else in isolation, at home, in your, you know, the elderly, the vulnerable. We're in it together. One thing, we are in it together, really are. So we've got to play our bit, and this is how we play our bit, by sitting, watching, talking to our loved ones, video calling. I myself also have my parents who are due to come back from India next month, but India is in total lockdown. There's no exercise there or going for anything, even shopping. If you need supplies, you have to ring a phone number. So it's a tough situation. India has 1.3 billion people. You know, if it ever got out in a large scale in India, it would literally kill hundreds of thousands of people. There'd be no limit, because the healthcare system and isn't the same as we've got. And it's another thing, the NHS, we clapped them last night, and we don't really know how lucky we are to have a system in place with all its limitations. And they are our key workers. There's lots of other staff obviously going out and doing their job. I myself, I work for the railway, so I'm laid off. I was a key worker. My son works at a school. My sister, she works in drug rehab support. She's carrying on doing that from another room in our house at the moment, working from home. So again, we'll get through it, and that first match back, it will be more than just a football match, I'm sure. There'll be a lot of emotion, there'll be a lot of passion, and I think people will start looking out for each other, choosing their words carefully. Right now we're all exactly in the same situation, so we can all get out of it together. If we're in it together, we can get out of it together, and only together it will work. So please follow the guidelines that your countries are issuing you strictly. Even if it means you don't go out for your run or your exercise, do it at home. It's so hard to avoid social contact when you're out and about, especially when you're shopping. When you're shopping, just go for your essentials. You don't need that much, to be honest, to survive. You can probably live with the food in your cupboards for weeks, So live a little bit simpler, eat a little bit less maybe, and look after yourselves, and see you on the other side, because it will happen. We'll come out of this, and hopefully we become a better human race. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Adnan from Istanbul, Turkey, and I'm admin of Wolves Turkey TV account. As you all know, we are fighting with coronavirus in this time, so there's only one thing you must do. that staying at home will control the spread of the virus to your friends and your family and to others. That's why you must stay at home and you must protect the national health system and healthcare providers. So stay at home and stay safe.
Wolves fans, wherever you are, this is Brian from Hat Chao Samran down in Thailand. Update on the dreaded virus that is circulating the world, and especially from sort of like, you know, where I live in Thailand. I'm 2 months away from being 69 years of age, and I suppose you could put me in the what's the word I'm looking for? In the area where it's could be dangerous, but I feel okay. I live in the Gulf of Thailand, and up that way is the sea. I'm fairly far from the big places. Bangkok is about 2.5 hours drive. Another place is Chatham, which is 30 minutes drive, and then another 30 minutes Hua Hin is about an hour's drive. But I'm in an area which there's not many sort of like people around. It's a small Thai homestead. But as I said, with regards to the virus, Thailand first became aware of it, I think may have been late December or very early in January, and the Thai Prime Minister actually came out, and once he was aware of it, he said in so many words, yes, we are aware of this virus, and we will control it and there'll be no problem. So I think the virus started off earlier than China actually came out and said. The Thai government basically said, you've got nothing to worry about, we'll control it. But I think they lied. The reason being is that February time they only reported about double figures, 15 or 18 people, which in my view is lying out the back of their bums. That's escalated through March, and as of today there's been just over 1,000 reported cases of people been infected with this virus. Again, I don't believe it, bearing in mind that there's approximately 70 million people. The population in Thailand is 70 million. But the Thai government, with regards to restricting things, they've done it in bits and pieces. They haven't done it full blown like other parts of the world. They've done it in bits and pieces. Face masks, don't stand near people, come into effect last week. About a week ago, or just under a week ago, they decided to shut all the entertainment venues. It doesn't worry me because there's no entertainment venues up here, but the entertainment venues, the bars, that had a knock-on effect financially for a lot of people, because no money, no honeys, so to speak, for these people. Anyway, they speeding it up to yesterday, the Prime Minister came out and said, I'm declaring a state of emergency. And what that means is that shopping malls, entertainment venues, all other bits and pieces where there's close contact are to be closed. Nobody's to be in attendance. The only thing that's left open effectively are restaurants or eating places, but you cannot sit in these and eat. You have to order your food and then take it away and take it home and eat it. He said that if the state of emergency doesn't take effect, he will implement a curfew. Now, the curfew means that 24-hour lockdown, but you can't do that because people's got to get out and shop. And if you allow people to come out, they're going to be swarming all over everybody. But I expect Thailand to the figures with regards to the virus, people who have been affected, that has got to escalate very, very soon. One of the snags is that there's a lot of migrant workers here from Laos, Cambodia, Myanmar, and majority of them all gone back home to across the border. So there could be an even widespread effect into those countries. And as for the entertainment venues where you get the bar girls, they normally come from the northern part of Thailand, called Isan region. Therefore, they've all gone back home, so we're expecting a bit of an explosion for people to be infected up there. But whether it happens or not, I have no idea. But I think that's my say. Maybe I could have gone on a lot more, but wherever you are, please stay safe, look after each other, and if you've got any neighbours and whatever who need a little bit of assistance, please go and help them. But stay safe, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hi, pals. Yeah, this is your boy, Sarat. Oh, Sarat Ghanaian is on Twitter. Straight away from Ghana. I think this pandemic has caused a lot. Already we are recording about 132 cases with 4 deaths, but it's somewhere in our capital. And we are hoping that at the end of the day it will go down. But here is the case. I'm urging each and everyone to please adhere to the simple rules. Stay safe in the house as I'm doing. Because this one, we don't know who will follow next. But let's do it in the right way and let's adhere to the rules. Yeah, we are wolves forever. Yeah, let's do it together.
Hi Dave, it's Keith from Melbourne here, doing as you asked, which was to let you know what's happening in Melbourne, Australia, where I am, from all accounts, because information isn't that easy to get, at least not accurate information. It seems that there is lots of people reporting lots of different things, and it's probably pretty hard to get really factual information except from the hospitals themselves. It appears that we're pretty much the same as the rest of the world as far as percentages go. Of course, the numbers here don't really tally up to anything like Italy or even America or yourselves in the UK, but the percentages are much the same, which is no surprise really. So of course we are talking about COVID-19. Here myself personally, I guess I fall into the category of higher risk because of my age. I'm 64, but I'm a very fit 64, don't have any problems. So at the moment it's affecting our family in the sense of my wife was told on Sunday that don't bother with work anymore. She works for a function house as a cook, so therefore all the weddings have just been cancelled. Pretty much a government direction there. My youngest son works for a flower farm, I guess is for want of a better way of putting it. Where we live in the hills, there's a lot of Dutch immigrants and Dutch related people, so there's a lot of flowers and that up here. And my son has a job there as a horticulturist, I guess, and he's still got plenty of work. One of the good things from his perspective, his business, is because people have got a lot of time off with the self-isolation. Everybody is making the best of the time they've got, so they're planting plants and doing their gardens up and all the rest of it. Melbourne, Victoria itself is very well known for its gardens. We call ourselves a garden state. Very, very, very excellent conditions here in Melbourne. Very similar to the UK in a lot of ways, except a lot hotter in summer, of course, and not as cold as in winter. My oldest son, unfortunately, is probably going to run out of work on Friday. He's in a bit of a bind because he doesn't have holiday pay or anything because he used it up at Christmas. But health-wise, we're all pretty good, at least from our perspective. Around my area, as I said to you previously, we live in a semi-rural area. We're about 40 kilometres out, I guess, in the hills from Melbourne. So we're pretty lucky there. As far as availability of food and the like, it's a bit tougher than normal, obviously, but it's been fine. We can't complain. I mean, it could be a lot worse, a hell of a lot worse, obviously. But because we don't have the density of population, I think we're probably lucky there, especially in the thing like social distancing. It's not really as big a deal for us here because we don't have as many people in the general area. But like everywhere, the whole idea is to, as they say, flatten the curve. So the less chance of the vulnerable people getting it by the people who are not so vulnerable transmitting it, the better. So, boy, am I missing Wolves. I can tell you that without a doubt. I really am missing it. I wish we were playing. It's, particularly, geez, it's been so long since I've seen a Wolves side even remotely like this one. It's just such a pleasure to watch it. But there you go. Life goes on. Life is bigger than football. So that's pretty much it from us down here in Ausland, mate. Certainly hope you and the rest of the international folk and folk at home, in Wolverhampton, I should say, get by unharmed and healthy, and especially to the people in all those horrible places where it has hit pretty badly. Get well. All the best to you, and always Wolves. Bye, mate.
Hey Dave, it's Zach in San Diego, California. Doing a little quarantine update. So here in America, we have been kind of slow on the response to quarantine. So up until like a couple days ago, really, people were still kind of out and about, going to beaches and stuff. And eventually, the last couple days, the city kind of shut all that down. So now people are pretty much only out to go grocery shopping or to like walk dogs, like what I'm doing right now. So yeah, it's been a little weird. I'm a bit of a homebody anyway, so I guess my life isn't terribly different because I do stay home a lot. But I personally work in food service. I work at a restaurant right now, so I still actually have to go to work. It's just been strange. It's been a lot of takeout and delivery through like Uber and Postmates and stuff, but it's been weird not having any sports to watch of like any kind, really. But yeah, I'm hoping that just all this ends up not taking as long as maybe they think, and maybe America gets a little smarter about testing and not being outside spreading it around to other people as much. But luckily San Diego hasn't been afflicted too much by this, and hopefully it stays that way. So wishing the Wolves family worldwide to stay healthy, stay safe, and hopefully sooner than later we can watch Wolves back in Europe. So yeah.
Hello Dave.
Hi guys, Spencer from Wolverhampton. I'm a ball boy at Wolves. I'm just giving you my view of the impact of what the virus has done to my city and what I've experienced. So far it is getting to the point where it's actually getting serious in this specific area of the city. Like every main estate of my city is actually getting just completely shut off. Local transport's still running, shops are still open, and some people are still doing normal stuff, but not as often. There is like a little green patch of grass which is like 2 minutes down the road. You usually see like people playing football on there and everything. There's literally none of that. Pretty much, obviously, the whole of the UK is on lockdown, but obviously we're not all overreacting and staying in our houses constantly. We have an hour of like an exercise walk or something, so that's good. Obviously, the government have allowed that. So a local supermarket near me is only allowed one customer in at a time, and my sister went in a couple of days ago, and there was a queue which was from the doors to about 50 metres down the pathway. So that was that. My local community shop as well actually is only allowing 5 customers in at a time now, which is bad. I saw 6 buses go past my house and not one passenger is on that bus. So there's literally no need for public transport. Everyone's literally making their own way to their places. So to be fair, it is very sad in this town, Wolverhampton, at the moment. But hopefully everything will be back to normal and football will be back soon as well. I'll see you later.
I guess we're on the outer skirts of being a serious lockdown case in this part of the world. We have 56 cases in our county of coronavirus. I think we've had about five deaths. But we're still waiting for a lockdown to occur. We don't know when that would be. Over 65s are being advised to stay at home, and all the sports gyms, restaurants are all closed down at this moment. We can go out and on walks right now, or as myself, I go out on my bike. I got lost in a jungle just north of us, about within a mile of us there's a jungle, and I misjudged it and ended up about half an hour trying to break through all this bracken and fern. I thought I wasn't going to make it for a while, but anyway, it's the states. There's 2,300 cases in Florida. There's 56, I think I've stated, in our county. So anyway, we're just waiting for the government to go to the next step. And so over and out from Fort Myers. Good luck to you guys. Thank you, Dave.
Hi, Dave. Here we are in sunny Victoria. It's still quite a beautiful autumn day. Sun's out. It's supposed to be 26 degrees today, but I think they've got that a bit wrong. So to give you a quick update on what's going on here with regard to COVID-19. We've been quite fortunate in Victoria. We've got 520 confirmed cases, and as of yesterday we've had 3 deaths. So actually, compared to other parts of the world, we're doing quite well. We've seen a dramatic change in the way of life. We've been through the hoarding, shops being raped of toilet paper, pasta, rice, all the other stuff that everybody else around the world seems to have hoarded. However, with reduced shopping hours and some restrictions and rationing in place, things do seem to be going back to normal, and you can actually find some stuff on the shelves if you are lucky enough to be at the shops when they start packing the shelves. They've closed the schools, no sport here obviously, although the A-League was one of the last leagues in the world to be shut down. I don't understand why, because the quality is just absolutely diabolical. Why anybody would want to watch that, I've got no idea. But rugby's gone. AFL here in Victoria has been closed down. There's a lot of concern as to whether or not a number of the clubs will actually remain functional after all this goes away and we get back to some level of normality. They've closed the shops down. They're just asking everybody to be vigilant, keep good social distancing practices. We actually haven't seen any of the lockdown measures from the UK, but I guess if the numbers start to increase and people don't do as they're told, then that'll be the next level of restrictions that are on the way in. No overseas travel going on. The travel industry's been absolutely hammered. Qantas, Virgin and most of the international airlines have stopped any international travels until at least the 31st of May. Domestic travel's been cut by at least 60%, which is having a massive impact, as you can imagine, on hotels, retail, etc. all over the place. So, hey, look, you know, it's not good. I think as long as people do as they're told, then hopefully we'll come through this without too much of a burden on society. With regard to Vic Walls, obviously we're not allowed to gather in the pub because the pubs are shut and we can't have more than 2 people or 3 people together at any one time. So we've actually kicked off and have really pushed our lively WhatsApp group. We're communicating with all our members, trying to make sure everybody's okay, keeping everybody's spirits up, and just being there for each other, I guess, you know, at these times, that's all you can do. Now, I hope you're well, mate. You take care, and we'll catch up with you later when the season starts again, if it ever does. All right, cheers, Dave. Bye.
So there you are, a long video for you to watch on this one. Lots of useful information there, you know, and as you can see, this is affecting everyone. It's touching all corners of the earth. We're all mad about the Wolves. We all love our Wolves. But, you know, health and safety is the most important thing in this moment. Football will come back. And, you know, you just got to do what you need to do. Stay at home. Follow your local areas or government's instructions. Wash your hands. And be sensible and look after each other. Thanks ever so much to everyone that's taken time to contribute a video on this one. Feel free to share if you want to, wherever you need to, and obviously make sure you send the love to the guys. And you know, from myself, Dazzling Dave, you know, thanks again for taking time to watch this particular video, and please stay safe. Thoughts and care and love with you and your family wherever you are watching this in the world. Until the next one, as always, we are always Wolves.